Well, y'all, that makes me sound like Paula Dean, doesn't it? You all, whatever. And here it is, all sewed together. And what I discovered on the pattern is that if you will look at the bottom row, you have two of your long pieces together, and in the middle, it's turned the opposite way. And then the next block is the two long ones on the top and the bottom. So the next row you alternate and put the short one with the, and then the two in the middle, the two long ones, and then the short one. And then alternate up there, and you've got the two long ones, one short, and two long ones. Does that make any sense? It's your two strips that you sewed together. So you're alternating them. Now, if you had 12 blocks for your baby quilt, your next row would be like the second row. You would have a short one, the two strips sewn together in the middle, and then a short. So, and when you're sewing your blocks together horizontally before you do your rows together, pin them. Just, you don't have to match up any seams at all. But when you're sewing them vertically, you're sewing row 1 to row 2, you must match up your middle seams in the middle blocks. And I would put 1 or 2 more pins because it's a long row. So I would use 1, 2, 3, I'd use at least 5 or 6 pins on each row because they're long. So I got my chickens all in the right row except for one. And that's pretty good odds, I guess. And I didn't worry too much about my lighter blocks. You know, I thought I'd want it in the middle, but boy, I switched these around so much that I just kind of had to call it quits and sew it. You can outthink yourself sometimes. I got the two blue floral pieces together up there on the top row, and I didn't want to do that, but you can't be perfect. And who's on a table, who's going to know? I mean, who cares? So now I'm going to cut out my backing and my batting and put it together. And I'm not going to do a video on that. I did one on the last quilt before this one. I showed you how to sandwich those together if you want to go back. And so I'll get it put together, and then I'll come back and we'll just talk about some quilting. Hi, this is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor. And this is our next to the last segment on Lucky Stars Quilt. And I just wanted to show you, I've got it all sandwiched together. There's my background. And I've started on the quilting. And I've decided that on this is what a quilt just kind of calls to you and tells you what it needs for the quilting. And I think just straight lines for this. But this is what I've done. 1/4 inch all the way around on the strips. And then for the star, I just went diagonal, diagonal, and across, and across. And I think that's all it needs. Well, I just think that's all it needs. You know, quilting is layering the 3 layers together and holding them together. And sometimes you don't want a whole lot of width in between, you know, empty spaces. But on this, because it is a table topper, it's okay. It's not going to be like a quilt that's used and worn all the time. It's not going to be touched. So I've got 2 of them done. And it's really, if I would just sit down and do it and not get up and work on it, I think I could probably do half of the quilt one day and half the other. But I have other things going, and I go do this and I go do that, and I don't sit here for very long because it hurts my back. So, but it looks nice on the back side too. I think it looks great on the back. So that's what I'm doing for this Lucky Stars. And remember, mine's only 9 squares, whereas if you wanted to do the baby quilt, it's 12. But you know, to me, this 9 is plenty big for a baby quilt. I think it's just fine. I really do. It's 45.5 by 45.5. I really wouldn't want one any bigger, unless it was for the crib, you know, for the bed. So that's all for this section. And I know I didn't show you how I layered it together. I used a quilting spray, and then I put some pins in it. But I have another segment, another quilt video that shows you exactly how to do that, little piece at a time, so that you don't have to put it on the floor, or if you don't have enough table space. It's how you do one section at a time, and then flip over and spray, and then do it. It makes it just quite easy, and you have no lumps and bumps in it. It works out really, really nice. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Remember, God loves you, and I love you too.